It's your art correspondent here, James Kalm, the guy on the bike. And we're in West Chelsea. We're going to try to hop in here to Gagosian. But first, got a shout out to our friends in Ashland, Oregon, Mumbai, and Sao Paulo, Brazil. And we're going to try to slip in here and get some pictures of an exhibition by Anselm Kiefer. We'll make our sweep. I believe you could make a pretty good argument that Anselm Kiefer could be the most highly recognizable, successful painter in the world, and probably has been for the last 20 years. I was looking at some YouTube videos earlier today, and they had some views of Anselm working at his quote-unquote studio, and well, the studio looks like a huge industrial factory. I think he had 2 or 3 people that were just melting lead for him. So this is titled For Paul Celan, 2021, emulsion, acrylic, oil, shellac, gold leaf, and chalk on canvas. Well, I've got a lot of things I could say about Anselm Kiefer. I've been looking at his work for, well, since about 1982. And, well, it's not like he's a shrinking violet. Everything just seems to be getting more and more massive. I was thinking one of the first times I saw his work was at an exhibition. Well, it was 1982 at Sydney Janis. It was kind of a survey of the Neo-Expressionists, so it had the Italian 3 Cs and people like Julian Schnabel and some of the Germans, Lupertz, Immendorf, Kieffer. This is Des Malers Atelier, the Painter Studio, 2021. Blah, blah, blah. And this is 129 by 224. Anyway, so I go up to see this show at Sydney Janis, and it was kind of funny because, well, Julian was just starting to get a lot of attention, and Anselm Kiefer had a painting there. Kiefer's painting actually went almost exactly from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. And, Well, Julian's painting was a little smaller, so about a week after the opening, I think Julian took another painting up there that was actually so big that they couldn't prop it against the wall, so it actually kind of leaned out from the top. For some reason, he had the feeling that he wanted to make sure that he had the biggest piece in the show. And so I'm seeing this symbol here, the artist palette with the wings on it that Kieffer has used for years. It's one of his magic symbols for the artist. Okay, I'm looking at this and thinking there's a whole lot of stuff in here. And, yeah, Kieffer's always been known as someone that used a lot of kind of strange material. And a lot of this doesn't hold up well over time. This is own a title, untitled. It's 149 by 110. Okay, so that's about 12 by 9 feet, something like that. Also, I was thinking that he's not only got little sheets of gold leaf in there, he's got a lot of gold paint, gold pigment that he's thrown in there as well. And I'm not sure, but I've also heard that he's got a compound in the south of France where he has a bunch of people working for him, painters. Okay, there we can see the little sheets of gold leaf. And I understand that he might work on a lot of these things outside, so they get a nice kind of weathered look after a year or so out there. Okay, so I also noticed that the title of the show is Exodus. And I wonder if that relates to the Otto Preminger movie of early 60s. Neo-Expressionism, 2021. All of this stuff, oil, emulsion, shellack, acrylic, chalk. Well, I'm actually thinking that Kieffer has always been someone that kind of takes everything and goes over the top with it. And I'm thinking that at some point the gold paint actually almost adds a note of kitsch to it. He's also been adding a lot of things that he hangs on the paintings for the last 40 years. So we've got a little kid's outfit here. I was thinking also I've been doing some research on, the German Romantics, the German Enlightenment period. And so I've been reading about Immanuel Kant, Hegel, Arthur Schopenhauer, and of course Nietzsche. And I think Nietzsche was going on about his idealization of Wagner. Okay, let's see if we can find this. This is also for Paul Celan, 2021. And I was going to say that if there was an artist that kind of echoed another previous genius in their desire for they call it the gesamte Kunstarbeit, the total artwork. I think that Kieffer would be the person that does that, and also the kind of the grand orchestrational concept of these things. Okay, this is 149 by 224 inches. Okay, so I'm seeing that a lot of this, whatever this basic layer of paint is, that there's a lot of scratching and actually cutting through the layer of pigment to make the bricks and some of these other architectural features. And we've got over here, we've got like a sagging pool of resin. Oh gosh, yes, these things are big. Somehow, I'm looking at this brick wall and it's making me think of Martin Wong, one of my friends from the East Village days. We're going to keep moving as fast as we can. Mount Casino. Okay, Kieffer has been working with a lot of references to classic German myths. He was saying Wagner has been an influence. I think this Mount Casino was a monastery in Italy. And they might have used that to keep prisoners of war during World War II, I'm not sure. There's always a kind of complex set of references that Kieffer's using. Half of them are very pro-German history. Some of them are dealing with Hebrew legends and stories. Some of them are kind of pan-Germanic, could relate to the Vikings or Celts. Closing time? Closing time, okay, thank you. Well, we got run out last night. We ran out the clock, but we came back today because we wanted to finish this up. And well, I'm pretty pathetic. I couldn't sleep much last night because I was thinking about this. This is for E.T.A. Hoffmann, the Golden Torp. I also took the time to read the press release, and they were talking about some of the things that have inspired the show. E.T.A. Hoffmann was a writer. I don't know whether he's a poet or a novelist, but there's a couple of pieces that are dedicated to him. Okay, so we're looking at, it's like kind of a ramshackle ruin. Oh, and I've got his bucket with gold. And this is 110 by 140 inches. So I think that's about 9 by 12 feet. There's another piece dedicated to E.T.A. Hoffman. Let's see if we can get this all in the screenshot. Okay. Actually, it was good that I took some time to study some of this. Okay, you see here in the middle, we've got his palette. And again, we've got the bucket. Maybe this is his paint bucket that he mixes up the gold with. They were saying that the clothing are stand-ins for people. I was just kind of riffing on this myself, thinking that this could be some kind of allusion to the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve. We've got the snake inside there. Okay, and this is 110 by 224 inches. Okay, now we'll go into the the large gallery. There's some big paintings. I spoke earlier about some of the German philosophers involved with the Romanticism and German idealism, and I think one of the things we should talk about in relationship to Kieffer is Immanuel Kant's ideas about the beautiful and the sublime. Okay, we all pretty much understand what beauty is, but for Kant, the sublime was an even more maybe powerful aesthetic experience. And he describes it as things that are so big and powerful that they overwhelm you and make you feel tiny and small and make you feel like there's some kind of a divine presence. I think that's what he called the dynamic sublime. The other side to it was the mathematical sublime, which is just being overwhelmed by the sheer numbers of certain things. And I think Kieffer, for a long time, has been playing on the first version of the sublime, which is making things that are so huge and powerful that they just overwhelm you. It's like a storm on a mountaintop, or standing at the edge of a cliff and looking down into a precipice somewhere and being just overwhelmed with a kind of fear, but also within that fear there's a certain kind of a desire. Maybe it's a Freudian death wish. And actually, I was going to say that in this particular show, Anselm is not really much of a colorist, but I do see some nice aqua blues in there on some of these. This is a big painting. I think they were saying that this is based on an interior view of one of the airplane hangars at Tempelhof Airport, and he was saying this It's titled Diana, something like that. Diana. And evidently the site that Tempelhof was built on was originally controlled, owned by the Knights Templar. Oh gosh, there's a lot of paint on these. And he's gone through and gouged in a lot of his lines. I was thinking that also something that came to me last night as I was pondering this is that a lot of these works have got a lot of gold in here, and well, Kieffer has always used a lot of kind of alchemical imagery, and evidently he was a student of Joseph Beuys, who also did a lot of things dealing with alchemy. Oh, that's kind of nice the way the light works on that. And I was thinking that many of his previous works were dealing with Rick Briggs. Lead. Lots and lots of lead. Poured lead. Hammered lead. Models made out of lead. And that maybe there's some kind of transcendence happening here where the lead has finally been transformed into gold somehow. This is Exodus 2021 to 2022. Emulsion, oil, acrylic, shellac, gold leaf. Sediment of electrolysis, metal and fabric and paper on canvas. Wonder what the sediments of electrolysis are. Yeah, there's a lot of what looks like burning going on here. Okay, we've got actually I like this series with the shopping carts. Partially it's because pedaling around downtown in New York, you see a lot of people that are living out of these things now. But also I think that this brings a whole other kind of illusion in here where a lot of the pieces are dealing with ancient mythology or Greek legend or something like this, that this makes it very contemporary. And they're also talking about the fact that a lot of these pieces are dealing with contemporary migration, all these other forces that are moving people around the world. Okay. Exodus, and I can't read the Hebraic text. Okay. The dog and the baby. Oh, this is funny. So he's got his little wheels on the shopping cart, and they sort of glued with blobs of oil paint so they don't roll around. Yes, Anselm is a great painter, and it's almost, well, or at least he has many great painters working with him. and the surfaces are amazingly rich. If I was going to question anything about this, I would say that seems to me that perhaps the painterly aspects of this seem to diminish in proportion to the actual size of the paintings. This is the title piece of the show. This is titled Exodus. And this is a big painting. This is 259 by 290 inches. And again, this is one of the few pieces that have really got some color in there. I was also noticing when I was looking at the video in the studio that these are actually sections, so he's got various sizes that he puts together. Something like 8 by 5, 9 by 5 foot sections, something like that. You can see the seams. Also, I was talking about his use of the lead and him pouring the lead, which makes me think of Richard Serra did a whole series of works dealing with lead, and I think he even did a kind of a concrete poem that was dealing with various things: spill, bend, tear, rip, lean, things like that. He turned a lot of them into pieces. And okay, so I like the bicycle thing. Oh, that's funny. I actually thought this was a bicycle, but this is something that they've put together in the little tires or rope. Okay, I wonder what kinds of packages they've strapped on the back of the bike here. Exodus 2022. Emulsion, oil, acrylic, shellac, gold leaf, sediment of electrolysis, and fabric on canvas. Well, as I said, I think that Kieffer has studied with Joseph Beuys and may have been influenced in his alchemical ideas, alchemy ideas. And I was thinking a lot of this, that blue is actually the color of oxidized copper. Okay, so I was talking before about how Kieffer mixes a lot of myths, biblical stories, Wagnerian opera references together. And I'm thinking maybe this is the Israelites being led out of Egypt. I'm not very good on my Bible quotes. I also talk about how a lot of these paintings decay, fall apart over time, and well, they say that Kieffer just embraces that aspect of it, and that's part of the piece. I'm gonna have to remember that when I have client bring back one of my pieces that the paint is cracked on or something is broken off. Okay, so yeah, it would be interesting to know exactly what he's doing and what all these various things that the paintings are made up of. I do think there's a lot of heating, burning, and in that way it does relate to a kind of the whole thing is kind of an alchemical process. Okay, we got one more painting to look at. Okay, so I guess they're probably calling this Exodus. I wonder if Anselm came in here and wrote this stuff on the walls. Yazi ad Mitzrayim 2021. All of this stuff. Okay, so this is actually kind of fun. I was looking at this through the window, and I didn't really look much. I just was thinking about the luggage, the baggage carts, and the shopping carts. So he's got the brooms there. That's probably the stuff that he paints with. But I was thinking, oh, this is fun. Look, we've got a artist palette with a brush and his buckets. Maybe there's some statement about how the artist can change the world somehow. There's another palette. Gosh, I know people that don't use that much paint in a year. This is 110 by 149, and I think this is probably the most golden of the pieces. Maybe 2 weeks ago we were looking at a show by Richard Pousset-Dart, and they had it divided into two parts. One part was the Byzantine, and the other part was the Gothic. And in that way, you could say that this is kind of Byzantine. You know, we've got the gold ground, various other things. So I was talking about the oxidation in here. I think that's what these blue circles are. Another thing I thought was interesting is that Kieffer is one of the only people I know that is using shellac in the paintings. I think Marcus Lupertz was using some shellac in some of his paintings as well, but...
7 minutes.
Okay, 7 minutes. We're running out the clock again. I would have to think about what it is about shellac that would make me want to use it. I think maybe it's alcohol-based rather than turpentine-based. Oh, we made it. James Kalm reporting on Anselm Kiefer, Exodus. Here at the Gagosian Gallery, West 24th Street. You can like this, share, link it up to all your social media sites, and you can leave your thoughts, ideas. 5 minutes, yes, thank you. Ideas, comments, suggestions below, and you can subscribe. We just ask you to say, thank you, Kate. That was nice. Thank you. Thank you.